Do you know what the hidden costs are in buying a home? Those hidden costs that every home buyer should know before signing on the dotted line? In today's video, we'll take a deep dive into those hidden costs, the difference between a mediocre and a great home inspector, the 5 issues that every home has that should be thoroughly investigated, what's under the house, what's in the house, and more. But before we get started, leave comments. Let me know what you'd like to hear about and what you think about today's video. It helps a lot when creating the content. Like the video. It tells the algorithm that you want to see more videos on residential real estate. Share and subscribe, and here we go. Part 1. Hidden costs. So when you're about to buy a home, you should be aware that there are hidden costs. And there are costs that are not hidden that are more than the mortgage and what you're expecting. So you should always do proper investigation. Truth of the matter is, when it comes to a home, it's almost impossible for the seller to hide any significant issues with the house, because a house is constructed in such a way where it'll give those secrets up. For example, if there are problems with the foundation, it will show itself in excessive cracking, unevenness in the floor, and the door is not closing plumb. If there's water damage and the seller is trying to cover it up by painting, that won't work because it'll reoccur. In fact, one of the best times to look at houses is when it's raining, because the house really will show all of those hidden secrets. The key is the right inspections. Part 2. Home inspectors.
Walls are within that house. Welcome to your first home inspection. My job as a home inspector is to make sure every house that I inspect is structurally sound, and I want to make sure that house is safe and everything is operational. When it comes to your gutter system on your house and the downspouts, as you can see, this one here is terminated at the foundation wall. My main issue here is the water is dumping right at the foundation wall. You want this water to be pushed out at least 4 or 5 feet from the foundation. So when checking the sink, you want to turn the faucets on, make sure there's no leaks around the base right here, and you want to make sure there's no leaks down here as well. This is my little secret on how to check a toilet if the base is loose or not. Shake it. The fins, the coils here, a lot of them are compressed, which is limiting the airflow. So it's like taking your hand, putting your hand over your mouth, and trying to breathe. It's not gonna work well, right here. What I like to do is bring a ball with me on the job. Normally I bring a bag of marbles. Today we got this. If they roll away, we know the floor is sloped. Right here, I don't have any issues. Welcome to my daily office. You see this right here? This is a supportive post. Not supporting too much, is it now? Hit the button, I'll walk over here. Somebody walks by the door, hits the sensors, boom, doors go up. The second, the down pressure. When the doors come down, God forbid somebody's standing there and the doors hit you, you want them to go right back up immediately. Right there, there's a little bit of moss on the roof. Not bad, very little. There's your gutter, your downspout comes down, and it terminates right there. You don't want water coming across your roofing system. You need an extension. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I love being a home inspector. I love knowing that I'm letting the buyers know exactly what they're buying so they're safe and they can live a happy life with their family.
A little bit of gear we're wearing. All of my inspectors use body cams. You can either use it like this or you can use it with a little camera attachment. We actually had one of our inspectors get bit by a dog the other day, and he has it on body cam, so it's good for our insurance. So it also kind of verifies that you don't do anything you're not supposed to, and it kind of shows what you're seeing through the inspection. I use dive cameras. You know, this is what we're using right now. There's several manufacturers of dive cameras, but they take the dust, they take the drop tests, they take things like that. If you drop it in a sump pump, they hold up really well. We average about 450 pictures for every inspection.
Okay, well, I think you get the point. Every home inspector is created different. And in the state where I live, in California, and I believe it's the same everywhere, there are no guidelines for home inspectors. They don't have to be general contractors, and the reports are very different.
You're so close to closing the deal, and all that stands between you and your dream home is a home inspection. So what happens if something concerning turns up? What fixes are mandatory before closing, and who's responsible for getting them done? Keep watching as we lay it all out for you. One important fact out of the way. No fixes are legally mandatory after a home inspection. There are different types of sales contracts that could determine responsibility for repairs. A so-called standard contract typically requires the seller to pay for certain repairs up to a specified dollar amount, whereas an as-is contract absolves the seller from any responsibility to make repairs. Laws vary by state, so it's recommended you check with your real estate agent regarding your options. Now, sellers, if you ever thought, even for a split second, you were getting off easy, remember that your buyer can walk away from the deal. What's more, in certain cases, mortgage lenders and insurance companies require the home to be in a certain condition before underwriting their loan or policy.
It's amazing to me that so many people talk as if they know what they're talking about. The truth of the matter is, you should assume that all houses are as is. Why? Because while you do have a right to a home inspection, as far as I know, the seller's not obligated to do any repairs. The truth is, it's a case-by-case basis. It depends on the market, it depends on how many offers are on the house, it depends on how motivated the seller is. So here are some quick tips. Number one, you can always ask the seller to make the repairs that you want done. Probably better to get a credit though, so that the seller doesn't have to do the repairs and you can do it with someone you trust and feel good about. Number two, get the right home inspector. How do you know? Well, number one, it should be a licensed general contractor. Number two, look at the reviews on Yelp and see what other people have had to say about him. Number three, ask for a sample of his home inspection report. Is it just a checklist? This works, this doesn't? Or is it written in such a way where it gives enough explanation that you could literally hand the report to a plumber or an electrician or a roofer or whatever and get good estimates and actually have them do the repairs? You should always assume that a home inspection is designed to give you information about the house so that you know how things work, what might be wrong and need repairs, or just a general feel of confidence that the systems are in good working order. There is a difference between a health and safety issue and a cosmetic issue. But also, you're buying a home, and in most cases, it's not a brand new home, so you are going to have to take on some cost. The idea is to limit those costs as much as possible and make sure you're not buying a money pit. Part 3, the 5 major issues. So it turns out that with any house, there are 5 major issues that could turn your home into a money pit. Also could be considered deal breakers. So number 1 is obviously the foundation. You can tell if the foundation is in good shape, but you want a general contractor to take a look and make sure that there's no excessive moisture, that there's no posts or joists that are missing, etc. Number 2 is the roof. Roofs can be expensive, and you want to make sure it's in good shape and how much life expectancy there really is in the roof. Number 3 is the structure itself. Is it sound? Are there cracks? Is it giving? Is it due to its age? Number 4, the electrical. The electrical is important, and it's not just the panel, but the wiring itself. And number 5, the plumbing. These issues should be thoroughly investigated prior to buying the house. Part 4. Just below the surface. So, no agent, no home inspector has x-ray vision. So there are things that you should check out prior to buying the home that are beneath the house, such as the sewer line. Different states have different regulations, but the bottom line is, sewer lines can be broken without you ever knowing it. It's not just a clog issue. The plumbing and how it's working. Has it been replaced? Has it been upgraded? Or is it the original plumbing? They do have life expectancies. There's only so long they're going to live. Also, is there any evidence of rodent infestation, termite infestation, or things like that? What's under the house is uniquely important, so therefore it should be inspected thoroughly. Part 5. What's behind the walls? the electrical, and what's inside those walls. Electrical can be very expensive. If you have to completely rewire the house, it's approximately $300 to $350 a square foot. It's probably gone up since the pandemic. The panel is also equally important, and depending on the age of the house, rewiring the house, especially in 2025, when you use computers and large screens, and the electrical drain on the house is huge. So inspecting the electrical is uniquely important. So in conclusion, these are the physical issues to the house that could cost you a lot of money year over year, or as soon as you move in the house. Some things are very difficult to know. So my advice is, number one, have a licensed general contractor inspect your home. Number two, have a sewer line inspection. Number three, have a chimney inspection if there is one. But there are other expenses that you should look into as well, such as property taxes, what's the cost of utilities such as electrical, gas. Depending on what part of the country you're in, that could be a lot of money. And in California, it's water. So these are major issues that could cost you a lot more than you're prepared for. So ask for copies of the bills. It'll help a lot. Also, insurance. Homeowners insurance has become ungodly expensive, especially in California. You should check that out prior to removing any contingencies with regards to the physical inspection, because homeowners insurance and the insurability of the house has gotten more difficult over time. So remember, a home is a very emotional investment, but it is an investment. In fact, it's one of the largest investments you'll make in a decade or more. So before you fall too deeply in love with this house and that you love everything about it, make sure you investigate it properly, check out the expenses, and make sure it's not above your means, because nobody wants to be house poor. Well, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you'd like to learn about in residential real estate. Like the video. It tells the algorithm that you like videos about real estate and you want to see more. Consider subscribing. It helps a lot. We're growing and we're going to add new content like live streams shortly. We appreciate every single one of you. So thanks again. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. I'm Michael Barish with the Barish Group. Click here for more videos on residential real estate.